It's hard when one foot's in the world and one foot's in the church. You got to know Jesus for yourself. I got to hurry. Jesus said, come unto me, all you that labor and heavy laden, I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn of me, Jesus said. He said, for I'm meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Hallelujah. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. That's what Jesus said. And when you stand up by faith, and you'll find the devil will run for you, and you go right into the enemy's camp, you'll find the enemy will be gone. I'll leave this with you. In Philippians chapter 1 and verse number 6, it says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. I could go on for more, but the leprous men, they went in, they received blessings, they ate, they got happy, and they went back and they told everybody else, you don't have to sit there like that and die. Get fed up, wise up, stand up, get up and go. Go with Jesus. Go for God. And watch God do a miracle in your life. Would you do that? Father, in Jesus' name, we pray these words will touch lives. Give you the glory. In Jesus' name. Listen, my friend, I've got to go. I'd love to be here longer. We got to go. Pray first. We're praying for you. We love you. God cares for you. And don't you dare let that devil push you around. We've got victory in Jesus. God bless you is my prayer for each and every one of you. Hallelujah.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Birch Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Birch is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Hello folks, this is Robert again from your Sears Hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed, or having a backache, or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears Hometown store. So come on down to your Sears Hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Portnoy at the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, fun with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands. Because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome to the Just Sports Show. My name is Les Martin, along with our executive producer, Miss Honeybee.
And I'm Brent Allen.
We certainly appreciate you taking an hour out of your day to join us here on WLAF AM 1450, the AM side of the dial, as well as FM 100.9, the same old radio station, just a brand new place on the dial, as well as 1450WLAF.com. Also on WLAF Channel 12, Comcast Cable.
Worldwide.
I think we got it all.
Pretty much.
If you want to call in, the phone number is 423-566-1450, 423-566-1450, or you can call the other line, which is 423-562-3557. That's 562-3557. We're going to be talking some soccer, some football, some baseball.
Sports.
A lot of sports.
It's just sports.
Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air?
Hello.
How are you, Miss Kay?
Fine. Did your friend ever told each other servicing?
No, I haven't told him yet. We have been talking about what we was going to talk about on the air, kind of, sort of, you know. No, but I got to see Miss Kay again Saturday at Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I gave her a hug.
Good.
She gave me one back.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Different, yeah. come down and visit him.
Do what?
Tell you he ain't come down and visit him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree.
We can do that.
So, did your husband get mad at you because you gave me a hug?
No, he gave me no.
Okay.
Not a jealous man, is he?
He don't think he's just one of my old boyfriends that no wife and him.
Oh, well, I don't have anything to worry about then, do I?
No, he's just as charged.
Huh. Well,
That's one of my old boyfriends.
that
What he doing?
that's not good. Is he out on the road again today?
Yeah, this week he will be on Saturday.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we got Coach. We're gonna have a Coach Lasley call in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna have to cut you short tonight. Is that okay?
Okay, babe, let me see what I can do what I've been doing.
What you been doing?
I've been walking.
Been walking.
I walked literally last night. I walked around the whole block.
How?
Wow.
The whole block where I live in. I walked around the whole block.
Wow. Are you trying to lose weight, exercise, or just trying to feel better, trying to sleep better? I mean, there's a lot of.
I'm trying to sweat in make me feel better and my legs won't tingle at night time.
Gotcha. Well, you're doing it the right way by exercising.
And I'm trying to do exercise and everything.
Well, good.
That's good.
That's awesome. Well, let me get off here so we can go over what we're going to talk about tonight before Coach calls in. He's the coach of the soccer team, Coach Lasley. And we'll get to talk to you again next Tuesday. How's that?
Okay,
Who's your favorite team?
go Cougars.
We'll see you Tuesday.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Campbell County Baseball came in loud and clear. I was in Somerset, Kentucky last night.
Yeah.
So I tuned them in on www.1450wlaf.com and heard David and Jolton Joe, Diamond Dave and Jolton Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The crew.
the crew, the Brew Crew,
Yeah, I guess.
I heard them last night, and of course, unfortunately for the Cougars, they lost by a score of 7-0.
And who do they play?
Central. I'm for some reason in my mind, I want to say Central beat them last night, or was it Halls?
Oh, they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
Central and Halls.
Central and Halls about the same thing. I agree. They're about in the same area too, not far
very
apart.
close. Yeah.
And I'm pretty positive it's Central. I could be wrong.
At any rate, they did lose though,
Yes,
and their record is now what?
2-10.
2-10.
2-10. The only two victories came, and I'm going to say this, Coach Mays, don't get mad at me. The only two victories came was right after the next 2 days after the Tuesday he was called into the show. So maybe he needs to call into the show again.
Yeah, I can see something behind that.
I'm thinking that's probably a lot to do with it.
Yeah, maybe you should call weekly.
There's my whole point. He needs to call weekly. But they've got a lot of baseball games that's going on as
They do.
well.
They do.
But I don't know exactly where they play at tonight. I'm not for sure. But I do know.
They were not at home, I can tell you that.
Right. They were on the road, but I'm almost positive they were on the road. You didn't see Coach Mays up there, did you?
No. No,
Yeah.
the middle school was practicing, but the high school was not up there.
I'm thinking they were on the road tonight. Let me see if I can find out just on a quick minute. But while I'm looking, Coach Lasley is going to join us tonight about 10:15 after 9 on the via the phone line. These boys just come off of playing 3 games over there at Gatlinburg, pitching fours at the Smoky Mountain Cup. That was some good experience for these kids. They come back and they play the game tonight against Oliver Springs, and they beat Oliver Springs by a score of 6-0. And we've been trying desperately trying to get a hold of the coach of the boys soccer team.
Right.
You and I both work we work out of town, so it's kind of hard to get in that situation to where we can get out to see the game.
It is, but now we've got a contact. Now we know who's running things.
We can find out when the game is, find out the times where I may be able to get to one of them, or you may be able to get to one
I'd
of
really
them.
like to go see one soon.
I would too. I really would.
I don't understand all the rules. I'm not going to tell you that I do. It's kind of like hockey. I love watching it, but I don't really know all the rules. But it's certainly interesting to watch.
You're right. I love hockey. I'm a hockey fanatic. For those that do not know, I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan. I do know a lot about hockey, but I'm like you. I do not know a lot about soccer, except you can't touch the ball with your hands unless you're the goalie.
And there's a lot of running.
A whole lot of running, which left me out when I was younger because I hate running.
Yeah, me too. That was it for me.
They're playing Knox Central. They're playing Central at Central tonight.
The baseball team.
The baseball team, yes. And I know I'm skipping from one to the other there, folks. I'm trying to give you as much information as I can in such a short period of time. But our main focus tonight will be on the soccer coach and the soccer team. He's going to call in, tell us some things about his players, because honestly, I do not know.
Yeah, I don't either. And unfortunately, it's like other things that have come up in the past. We've had some of the sports are starting to finally gain traction, and that's what it takes. Winning helps. In
Sure.
a situation like this, when you've got a winning team or a team that can contend, then obviously you can get that stuff out there, and people are more interested. I mean, that's not. It shouldn't be that way. We should support our teams, win or lose. But let's be honest. I mean, people like a winner, and that's what they're looking for.
Well, sure. Now, Colin Pittman, and the only reason why I know this young man's name is because they videotaped him. Well, Follett Press did, put it on Facebook, and he was talking about the 6-0 win over
Oliver Springs.
Oliver Springs.
We don't know what Oliver Springs is. This the first game of the season?
No, this ain't the first game of the season. I don't know what game it is. That's the problem. I don't have a schedule, and I apologize, folks, but we're trying to get you some information, as much information as we possibly can get you.
I'm sure Coach Laza can get us squared away on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also going to talk about football. Of course, football starts on the most precious day ever,
What's that?
May 2nd.
Oh.
That's the most precious day ever.
Well, I mean, Good Friday is kind of a big deal to me, but yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, well, but May 2nd is a very, very, very good day to start
It's your
football.
birthday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It took me that long to figure that out.
Yes, it did. But it starts May the 2nd. Football spring training starts May the 2nd. I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait. Whenever you start smelling the grass,
Oh, yeah.
and when they mow it or whatever, and you're out there and you see those guys hitting and those kids running around there, and just that aroma from the grass.
Yeah, there's usually another aroma from the shoulder pads that have been sitting all off season. They start getting warmed back up. That's a pretty significant smell too.
Exactly. One that I'll never forget.
Exactly.
Also, Steve Ward is the assistant coach of the the boys soccer team as well. We won't be able to talk to him tonight. We'll have Coach Lasley on for sure. He said about 10-15 minutes after. I caught him. I'm sorry, Coach. I know I caught you at an unbelievable time, and that was I caught him at supper.
Oh, yeah.
At the Mexican restaurant. So I do apologize. We're also going to talk about the SEC teams, the strongest position for the 2016 season, predicting the SEC starting quarterbacks. We're going to talk about that a little bit. What's some of the things that you've got on your agenda?
Just a few little things. Did you happen to get a glimpse of the video of Josh Smith making the one-handed catch?
No, I seen it, but I hadn't had a chance to play it.
It was impressive, but the only thing that bothers me is I think it almost looks like it was set up. I mean, he was by himself, he was undefended, and it looked like it was one of those deals where they practiced it over and over until they finally got it. I could be wrong. I mean, he's definitely a very talented guy, but to me, it looks a little suspicious.
Well, stop and think about it. Odell Beckham Jr., every Sunday that he warms up catching the football with one hand. Have you ever seen that?
I have. That's impressive. The problem with that is, though, these young players, unfortunately see that and they think that's the good way to practice. And the coach will make you run if you don't use both hands.
Absolutely.
I mean, if there's any way you can get both hands to the ball, then that's what you have to do. But it does make good sense. When you become an accomplished receiver and can actually catch the ball with two hands very confidently, then that's fine to go ahead and practice catching one-handed.
That is if you're making money and you're playing for that particular
Exactly.
team.
That's all they do every day. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Hello, Coach. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you tonight?
Man, I certainly appreciate you calling in on such short notice, folks. We've got Coach Lasley on the phone, the boys soccer team coach, and of course Steve Ward is your assistant. Is that correct?
That is accurate.
Okay. Coach, you're going to have to forgive me here because I don't know a whole lot about soccer except for the fact that you can't touch the ball with your hands unless you're the goalie.
Well, that's good. You're on the right direction anyway.
Well, you all participated in the Smoky Mountain Cup or something of that nature over the weekend in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. Is that also correct?
Yep, Smoky Mountain Cup. That is correct.
I know that there's a lot of talent. There was a lot of talent over there, and this is Campbell County High School's very first year playing in varsity. How did they play, Coach, as far as a team and against some of the other tougher opponents?
I felt like we came out. We represented ourselves well this weekend. I felt like we came out a little bit flat in the first game and kind of got hit in the mouth a little bit. But I think that they answered the bell in the next two games. Played against a solid Alcoa program and finished 1-1 in that game, and then had to play against Gatlinburg Pittman. That's a team that's had a long-standing soccer tradition, and we've actually beat Gatlinburg Pittman in our last game Saturday night 3-1.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive. How long have you been the coach of these kids?
This is my second season as the boys soccer coach, and I was made co-head coach with Brian Horton last summer for the girls team. So I work with the girls in the fall and then the boys in the springtime.
So you're going to be a very busy man when it comes to spring and the fall, and they kind of run back to back together, don't they?
There's a lot of it. Yes, there's a short break there going toward a little bit going toward Christmas, but yeah, for the most part, it keeps you hopping most of the year.
Do they have different camps and things like that for these kids to go to throughout the year? Like, let's say you see these basketball tournaments all the time and you see these baseball tournaments all the time. Is soccer starting to go that way as well?
So soccer's been going that way as long as the places you're talking about, as the sports you're talking about, possibly longer. You've got, we have several what we call club players on our team, and the kids that play club, they're playing year round. For the boys, for example, they play on a club team called such as FC Alliance or the Knoxville Soccer Academy. That's two different clubs in Knoxville that we have boys playing with, and they play games. They play throughout the fall with their club teams up into January, and then take a short break and not a short break, but they get about 2 weeks off, and then we start our high school season that runs up to May. And as soon as they're done in May, their club coaches are calling saying, "Hey, let's get back to practicing again." So they work them over the summer and stuff like that. So if the ones that are into moving just a little bit, they're playing year round and they're traveling. They travel to. My son and I travel. We've been to Atlanta, Nashville, Montgomery, Alabama, Greenville, South Carolina. And these other boys have been to similar cities and not same tournaments.
Well, let me ask you a question. With those kids traveling like that, do you see, and this is just a question that just kind of come across my mind real quick, but do you see a lot of injuries or some injuries, or does the travel ball help them avoid more of the injuries?
That's a great question. I don't know that I think it causes more injuries. I don't know that I would say it causes less. I think the best thing that you can do to prevent injuries is always, take the proper precautions and stretching and working out there during your spare time, going to the gym, no matter what your game is. Anytime you're doing extracurricular training on your own to increase your muscle strength and your flexibility, that's going to help you at any sport, and soccer is no different. As far from an injury standpoint, is it beneficial from a helping develop the player get better? There's nothing like playing the game. I don't care what you're doing. We have a young man named Gustavo Rosas on our team that actually plays in a men's league in the off season, and he's a senior this year. And Gustavo plays on that men's team. You know, that time right there is invaluable as well. Just getting out playing like any other game is you know there's nothing like playing. If you can play around your backyard, but when you're actually on a team and there's coordination with it, you know, it's going to make you better.
How many kids do you have on your boys' team, Coach?
We have a 28-man roster this year.
Wow, I would have never thought out of Campbell County High School that you would have found 28 kids that would play soccer.
In my personal opinion, I have 28 of the best kids at Campbell County High School. Every one of those young men have come in and worked hard. You know, the younger ones that are inexperienced. I've got a couple of boys on the team that have never played soccer before, and I've already seen huge strides from some of those boys. Just because they come in there, they said, "Coach, I don't know what I'm doing," and I'm like, "Son, you can learn. If you want to put the time in, you'll learn." And every one of these kids have just really worked hard, and I've been very proud of each and every one of them.
I know here a few years ago, and I'm not going to mention any names because it's not important, but I asked the athletic director about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, why did we not have soccer? And that individual told me as long as they were the athletic director, they would never have soccer. Do you find yourself, and I'm sure you do, Coach, but how far behind do you find yourself when you go up against some of these other programs?
Well, honestly, it really depends on the program that you're going against. You know, if you're going against a team like Oak Ridge, okay, yeah, it's you know, that's a team that's had one of the best programs in the state of Tennessee and really the Southeast region for probably 40, 50 years. You know, then again, you go against teams like we played against Oliver Springs tonight. And, you know, this year, because they're building a new soccer field at the high school, you know, we're playing at the youth park. And the coach was like, "Hey, man, I'm just glad, you know, you ought to just be glad you've got a youth league going on." He said, "If there's a kid kicking a ball in Oliver Springs, he's on my high school field." He said, "We don't have any kind of developmental program coming in there." He said, "Your developmental program," he said, you've at least got something developing." So, you know, I mean, it just really depends on the program and the schools you're talking about. When you get out in some of the, you know, in some of the rural, against some of these more rural teams like ourselves, you're probably not going to have it. They're not going to have the exposure that your inner city schools have had, like, you know, Halls, Farragut, Bearden, Central. But that doesn't mean that you can't make up the ground. You know, like I said, those kids I talked about that they're on the club teams. Those boys, they're second to nobody in Knoxville. I promise you. I've watched those kids play since they were in third and fourth. I've coached them since they were in third and fourth grade. There's not too many players in Knoxville that I would pick over them, if any at all.
Wow.
I mean, they played hard, they worked hard, and it's been a pleasure to coach them and watch them grow up.
Are you a young team coach, or do you have quite a few seniors?
We have 4 seniors this year. Gustavo Rosas, as I mentioned before, Carlos Rivera, and Colin Pittman are seniors, and they've been with the team since the beginning when they were sophomores. We have a young man this year named Michael Smith who's played a lot of soccer down in South Carolina before his family moved up here, and he came out for the team this year. He should have came out last year, but he was injured at tryouts, and he said, "Coach, I was just so nervous, I couldn't make myself come out to try out." And I said, and I was like, "Man, I wish I'd have had you last year, because he's a awesome talent, and he's just a really good kid and a lot of fun to be around." And but that's our 4 seniors. Our junior class is the big class. There's about 11 or 12 of those kids actually in that class right there. There's almost as many. There's as many juniors as there are kids in any 2 of the other 3 classes. I guess you could say.
Wow. Well, I know that there's a new field for those that drives by the high school and sees all that dirt being moved and things like that. That's going to be the new soccer field. Is that correct?
That is correct.
When is that supposed to be completed, or do you know, Coach?
Well, when we originally started, the goal was to be that the girls would be able to start playing on it when we come back from dead period in the second week of July. You know, we're in early April, and we're still just at the dirt stage. Unfortunately, things just didn't progress the way we'd like them to back in probably October, November. We just couldn't seem to get rolling. And winter caught up to us before we had, before we could do anything really about it. And, you know, that's nobody's fault. It's just, you know, there's processes and things that you have to go through. You know, all the people that have been involved from the director of schools to our athletic director Sherry Chapman to Brian Horton and Steve Ward have been such huge. They've been the guys really leading the front from our team standpoint. And Sherry has just and Jamie have been wonderful as far as trying to help make things go. But there's just some things that you can't make them go any faster. That's just the way it is. So we're hoping the girls can play on it this fall. That has been the goal since day one of the project, was that the girls will be able to start on it in the fall. We'll see how that goes. Right now we've got to get some topsoil on it, get a few more things done, and hopefully get grass on and moving. But so we'll have to see how that goes.
Okay.
Hey, Coach, Brent Allen here.
Hey, how are you, Brent?
I'm doing just fine. It's a goofy question about that field. I drove by today, and I was curious. Did you know if there's any plans to put up like a really high net on the end closest to the road, or what? Do you know if there's anything expected to do with that?
That is a long-term project. That's not something that's going to be there right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of a long-term situation. Something we'd like to have in the future. But I don't see that happen. That's not going to be. I don't think that'll be something we get right off the bat. No.
I understand. Well, the reason I ask is obviously if a ball goes over that end, it's going to be gone. It's going to go down by the railroad tracks down there. And I was just curious, does that happen a lot? Are the balls kicked out of the playing field often?
Oh yeah, the ball goes. Especially that's one of the things that if a defensive player is in duress, for lack of a better term. That's basically what he's told, is to put your foot through it and get it out of bounds. Let your it's kind of like a breakaway layup. Just do what you got to do to slow the other guy down until the help can get there. That's one of the things that they're in duress. You're told, just kick it as hard as you can, get it out of bounds, and let's live to fight on the next play before they get an easy goal on you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Wow.
Sure.
That's I know that they've made strides on that field, and I know there's been talk about the field for quite some time, but I'm so glad to see it coming together, and I wished it was done already, because the publicity of playing out there next to the 4-lane, I think for the kids' sake, is going to be the best thing ever.
We are very excited about it. We feel like the location is. You don't get more prime than being right out in front of your school. Every time that that we're out there knocking the ball around, and hopefully in a few years we'll get lights every time those lights go on, and the team is out there. People driving by, there's still people around who go, oh, I didn't realize we had a soccer team yet. A soccer team here. I'm glad to hear it, and so that's going to be one of the best things for our kids, for those younger kids coming up. A lot of people have hesitated putting their kids in soccer at a younger age because, there's not really a team at the high school, and I want them to work now at a game they're going to be able to play as they get older. Well, that's only going to make it better. As kids come by and they see it, and people just kind of get interested, and hey, I've heard the team's pretty good. It's only going to help grow the love for the sport.
Absolutely, I agree. Let me ask you a question. I got a couple more questions, then, Coach, I'll let you go. I really appreciate you coming in, folks. We've got Coach Lasley on the phone, the high school boys soccer team coach. What is your record so far this year, and where can we find a schedule so we can advertise some of this stuff on WLAF?
The record is 4 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. And we have our next match is next Tuesday at the La Follette Field behind La Follette Elementary School at Bob Snodderly Park. And excuse me, sorry about that. And that game is at 6 o'clock, and it's the big rivalry game, I guess. When anybody says this name in Campbell County, it doesn't matter what the sport. People go, ooh, you got to win that one, because we got Anderson County, and the big Mavericks are coming up to La Follette.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, haven't you already beaten them at least once prior to this Tuesday, as far as maybe an exhibition or a scrimmage or something like that?
The JV played them earlier this season, and it was tied, and we tied 0-0. And the girls actually beat them last fall. It was actually a really big win for the team. They were very excited. I don't think not too many people really thought that we would have a strong chance to win that game, and we really dominated that match from beginning to end. To be honest, it might have been the girls' best match of the year. To be honest, they were focused and ready to play. But going back, the boys played them at Anderson County last year, and we actually had them down 4-0. And it was like a time bomb went off. All of a sudden, they finally broke a goal, and when they did, we couldn't slow them down. And before we knew it, the game tied 4-4, and we were trying to score a goal to get the win. They were trying to score a goal to get the win. It was a very exciting last probably 20 minutes of the game. They scored 4 goals on us in about 15 minutes, and it was just like, it was one of those you're just sitting there going, what's going on, But so the boys have kind of been chomping at the bit to get back out there and play and try to get some vindication for last year, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you calling in tonight on such short notice. Thank you very much. We'll be in contact. I've got your number saved in my phone if that's okay.
Absolutely. Please call anytime.
Okay, Coach. You go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening, and great job on beating Oliver Springs tonight by a score of 6-0, and we really appreciate you calling in.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and y'all have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. It's time for a break. Coach Lasley, he's fired up.
Excellent caller. I knew he would be.
Yeah, he's fired up. Caller, if you're watching, I'm sorry. We've got to take a break. Then we'll get your call as soon as we get back. You've called multiple times. It may be a recording. I don't know, but we'll get your call when we get back. We're going to step away for a short commercial break. You're watching Just Sports.
WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Bird Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Bird's is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Folks, this is Robert again from your Sears hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed, or having a backache, or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears hometown store. So come on down to your Sears hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Portnoy at the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, fun with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands, because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome back to the Tuesday night edition of Just Sports. My name is Les Martin, along with Brent Allen. We've got a caller on the line. I'm hoping he's still on. Are you still on, sir? Well, he must have dropped off. He's calling from
Calling from Illinois.
yeah,
Listening on the internet.
listening on the internet. We certainly appreciate him calling in for sure. Let's talk a little bit more about the baseball team, Campbell County Cougar baseball, of course. They lost last night by a score of 7-0. It's tough. They're 2-10, I believe, is the record. What do you do if you're Coach Mays? I mean, you hear you're young, much like we heard last year on the football team.
I don't know, and I'm sure the coaches are scratching their head and trying whatever they can. But I mean, just from the outside looking in, it looks to me like we've got a batting problem. I mean, it's every game's 7-0, 12-0. I mean, we're not able to hit, and I'm not talking kids. If you're at home, I'm not saying you can't hit. I'm not saying we're bad. What I'm saying is we're not able to put runs on. The only way to put runs on the board is to hit.
Right.
And we're not putting runs up. So just common sense says we're having a hitting issue. Is it because we're not used to seeing the pitchers? And I don't know, but I'm saying maybe pitchers that we're going up against have a little more speed, a little more stuff than our pitchers, and it's tough to reenact that. Again, don't take it the wrong way if you're a pitcher. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just trying to figure out what the problem is.
Yeah.
There has to be something in that scenario there.
I agree 100%, and that's what I took away from the game last night. As I was listening, we only had 5 hits all night in a 7-inning game. I'm like Brent. Kids, don't be upset. Parents, don't be upset. We're not criticizing the kids, but the bats just ain't doing what the bats are supposed to be doing at this
Right.
point in time in the season.
Right, and you could say that that it's a defensive problem that they're not able to get off the field. But the bottom line is you're going to have shots that are going to fall. I mean, no matter who you are, if you can get enough players to put the bat on the ball, it's going to fall in some of the holes. You're going to get people
Absolutely.
on base if you're hitting enough. So, and that's what it's got to be. It can't be that our defensive play is not up to par. It has to be more a lack of offense, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. We was going to talk about maybe the each SEC teams, and I'm going to move on from baseball simply because of the fact of we can't get too in depth, too deep, because these kids are young, and the last thing we want them to think is that we're criticizing them, and that's not the case.
Absolutely not. And it's
Middle
gonna
school,
look like
and middle, anything going on with middle school?
not a lot. We've had a couple of games postponed, one for weather, I think, and then most recently was versus Clinton, and they, for whatever reason, it was supposed to be yesterday. They postponed it, and we'll see what happens. I will say this though, just tying into the baseball high school team, I'd like to see the middle school players get. I think we have 8 games scheduled, and we've already had 2 or 3 postponements or cancellations, wherever they may be. That's not very many games.
Right.
There's plenty of places out there that they could play. Now, coaches, I'm not criticizing. I don't know who sets up the schedule, but I would say that there are ways to do it. I know that Clinton has a JV team that plays separately from the varsity team, so they're getting a lot more playing time. And when you're trying to build a better high school team, you've got to start with the young kids,
Sure.
and get them enough experience to where they're comfortable playing those positions and swinging that bat at a faster pitcher. And that's the kind of things that you have to do to make that next step. But we'll see. No complaints for the middle school, just saying that it would be nice to have more playing time.
You're absolutely right, because sometimes it takes kids 3 or 4 games to kind of get in a rhythm.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially kids that play multiple sports, because you're stepping out of basketball or football or whatever, back on the diamond and trying to remember all those little special things you learn about, what to do in certain situations, and I mean all the little nuances of baseball. I mean, anybody should be able to swing a bat and catch a ball. That's the basic stuff. But there's a lot of nuances that, especially the older they get, the more they learn, and it's kind of something they have to really get into and get their mind into.
Folks, if y'all would like to call in, it's 423-566-1450, 423-566-1450, also 423-562-3557 as well. Sorry, caller, if you're listening, I apologize. You feel free to, you're more than welcome to call back. Let's talk about I want to talk about football.
Let's talk to football.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my sport.
Yeah, me too. Love them all, though. That's why we're called just sports.
Exactly. The Southeastern Conference, the team's strongest position for 2016. I've got it pulled up. This is from Saturday Down South, SDS. I don't know if anybody reads Saturday Down South, but it is an absolutely great place to get some information.
A lot of good information, a lot of good articles, a lot of stuff that you won't find in other places.
Exactly. They say that Alabama is their strongest part of their team is going to be the secondary. Now, there was a kid that just got suspended by the NCAA this week from Alabama, and I don't know if that's going to hurt him or not. Also, Arkansas, they're saying the receivers and tight ends, but I've got a stupid question here, Brent. Maybe you can help me out with this. If your strongest position for your team is receivers and tight ends, what does that say about the quarterbacks throwing the ball to them?
Yeah, it would concern me that you're probably having a weakness at your quarterback and possibly running back.
Well, sure. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you're strong,
but I guess what their point is just if for that team these happen to be the best players on the team. If you look at it from that point of view, it may not be that big of a deal.
It may be the case. Auburn, they're saying Auburn's got the defensive line. Florida's also the defensive line. I'm kind of eager to see what they've got for Tennessee. I haven't read down this far. Georgia, they're saying the running backs. Of course, Nick Chubb's going to be back this year from that nasty
Healthy,
ACL. tear that he had against Tennessee last year. I don't think that's going to make a difference between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Tennessee Volunteer football game. I think Tennessee still takes the game. Kentucky is running backs and receivers. That is much better than receivers and tight ends. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that's, but again, all they're doing is basically picking who they consider the best players on the team. But still, if you're going to pick somebody, hoping that your best players running backs would be pretty nice to have, because they tend to score.
And of course, LSU is running backs because they have Leonard Fournette. Mississippi State's linebackers, Missouri's defensive line, Ole Miss's receivers and tight ends, South Carolina linebackers, Tennessee running backs, Alvin Kamara, Jalen Hurd.
And John Kelly
Yeah.
has picked it up.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, and he is the fastest back that we have.
Yeah, as far as so far in their GPS monitoring, that he's been the fastest one. I think 22 miles per hour, 22 point something, and that's fast.
That's moving.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. My truck barely gets up to that. I mean, that's moving, and plus he's really picked up a lot. And if you watch any of the video from the practices, I don't know how tall he is, but you can see that he's more comfortable running low. Jalen Hurd's that's kind of been his weakness, is running a little bit too tall.
Right.
And because of that, I'm not sure they work on him. They run him underneath those mesh fences or whatever they call them,
Right.
to help him stay low. And it could just be that he's shorter than Jalen Hurd, and it was easier for him. But he did look very comfortable and very quick. And I'd say he'll contribute this year, and that's not hoping that somebody gets hurt. I'm just saying, even if it's in a cleanup role, I think we'll see him.
Yeah, he is one of those kids that is very, very surprising. Can be very deceiving, has very deceiving speed.
And I believe he was one of Butch Jones's recruits from Cincinnati, wasn't he?
I believe you're correct. Absolutely. Texas A&M is receivers, Vanderbilt's linebackers, and of course, I don't know how you can say Vanderbilt's strongest point is going to be the linebackers. I don't know.
Well, they had to pick somebody.
Well, exactly. They had to pick somebody. Now we all know. Let's move on to quarterbacks real quick. We was talking about quarterbacks just a second ago for the Southeastern Conference. Of course, as soon as you pull up Saturday Down South, like I said, folks, it's the best place to go get your information from. They have a picture of Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, and it's not a Tennessee site. It's for all the SEC basically.
Correct. Do you think Josh Dobbs comes out this year throwing the ball better than he's ever threw it before?
He has to. He has to, or he's going to get benched. And I know people at home are going, "What? He's great, he's dual threat and all that." But if he can't make that deep ball this year, we've got problems, because that's all they've had to work on for all this time. They should be able to throw the deep ball like reminiscent of the 80s. Back when what's his name, Joey Clinkscales. Remember those guys from the late 80s?
Yeah.
There were several of them, and I can't even remember who the quarterback was, but they were making those. I mean, it was.
Wasn't Andy Kelly, was it?
Could have been Andy Kelly. I mean, that was the same era. There were several players or several quarterbacks that were throwing to these guys. What's his son, Dale Carter?
Yeah.
In that era.
Right.
They were always good for at least one or two really deep completion, usually a touchdown. And that's how Tennessee. Well, that's not the only way, but that's part of the reason Tennessee was known as wide receiver U for all that time. And now they've kind of gotten away from it. And I'm afraid we're going to stop seeing some of the higher pick wide receivers if they don't pick it up this year.
Well, here's the thing. You bring up a good point, and I've never thought about this. We were wide receiver U, but somebody had to get them the ball.
Yeah.
And they've done a very good job throughout the years, like you said, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and early 90s as being wide receiver U, and we've kind of lost that.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if it's because Josh Dobbs just doesn't. I mean, I know he's got the arm strength. We've seen him throw some bullets. He's got good arm strength, but I don't know if he. And I can think of myself, and I hope that he's not as bad as me. But when you try to really heave a football, a lot of times you'll kind of end up throwing it like a girl because you're just throwing it so hard. No offense, ladies, but it's like trying to throw the ball left-handed. I mean, it almost comes out flat.
Right.
And the ball, you lose. It just doesn't come out right, and it's tough to do that. And so I don't know if he's trying too hard to throw it deep and he's putting too much on it. A lot of times it just doesn't look like he's got a very good arm. But then all the intermediate stuff, he's dead on.
Yeah, I think it's accuracy with the harder throw that he's got an issue with. Hopefully. Our offensive coordinator, Mike DuBois, and can work on that, and also the passing game coordinator can work on that as well. But hopefully that's it. But Josh Dobbs is going to be the guy for University of Tennessee, and of course, if something happens to him, of course, then it's going to be Quentin Dormady,
Right.
which is a young man that can throw the ball deep, has very good accuracy as far as throwing the ball deep when they allowed him to last year when he came in for Joshua Dobbs. But you certainly don't want to have to start out the season saying, let's look at the second string quarterback, because if you do
Well, I
that,
agree, but think about this situation. Let's say second, third ball game, we're having trouble, and Dobbs seems to be the problem. Are we going to let a game go down, knowing that this year is big, that every win counts? Are we going to let Dobbs stay in? And I say we, like I've got any choice in it, but are the coaches going to let Dobbs stay in and hopefully work his way through it and come out on the winning side, or they're going to say, you know what, let's see if we can get a spark from Dormady and give it a shot. Now you're still in a lot of the confidence from Dobbs, but again, Coach Jones has got to feel the pressure this year. People have been saying, last year, a lot of folks like us, we're big Tennessee fans. Maybe this is the year, but even he says this is, they got to prove something this year. Maybe not national championship or anything like that, but they're gonna have to make or show market improvement.
I know, talking about proving something this year, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I remember, vividly, I remember Tennessee back in 2005 when they came out ranked number 3 in the nation.
Oh yeah.
They were supposed to be the guys that was going to win the SEC East and all this other things, and this is all we're talking about is SEC favorites who crashed well short of first place. And of course Alabama did that in 2000, and Tennessee did it in 2005 when they started out number 3 ranked in the AP Top 25, ended up with just 3 Southeastern Conference wins and a 5th place finish in the East, and a losing record overall. Wow. Everybody was devastated.
Oh yeah,
that was
too.
The end of the end, or starting to be the end of the end of Phil Fulmer. And if you remember, the young man who is now at Florida State as quarterback's coach and co-offensive coordinator.
T. Martin.
No, he's at USC.
What did you say?
Randy Sanders.
That's it.
You
Randy
remember
Sanders.
Randy Sanders? Yeah. That was when Randy Sanders, I believe, stepped down after the Kentucky game and said that he felt like that it was his fault. But
didn't he go after that to Kentucky first? Wasn't that his first new job?
That was his first new job. How can you go from Tennessee to Kentucky?
I don't know. I guess after they beat Tennessee, he felt like, you know what, and they beat us, so I'll go with them. He was kind of known, this is off subject, but he was the first, for me, he was the first coach on TV that you ever saw using like skull or something in his lip. Did you notice that? He was always, every time you put the camera on him, he was spitting in a cup, and I'm thinking, that's the first time I've ever seen that on TV. It was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
Really no.
I agree 100%. Also, I don't know, we talked about this just before we went on the air. Keandre Jones, he is a freshman in high school. Tennessee has offered this kid a scholarship. When, Brent, is too early to offer a kid a scholarship?
I would say that if he were in 5th grade and this size, offer him. I don't care how young he is. Was he 6'3", 6'4", 280 pounds?
Yeah, 6'4", 286 pounds.
Nah, offer. I agree that's young, and he could end up in jail before he makes it out. I mean, I don't know anything about the guy, but there's all kinds of things that could happen. But you know what? If he's that big at that age, get him looking at Tennessee.
Well,
everybody's going to be doing it.
Oh, absolutely. He's already got an offer from Georgia. He's got an offer from the University of Tennessee. Florida also has offered. That's him.
Wow. I wish we had a TV wherever some people at home can see it.
I agree.
He doesn't look like a freshman.
No, he doesn't. They say he has excellent footwork for his age. Said he's very athletic to be 6'4", 286 pounds. I can only assume he's an offensive tackle. That is the fact. I can only assume that he's going to be a left tackle, being that huge.
Yeah, and of course I don't know his age, but he can't be more than 16 or so, 15 or 16. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to finish out the season. So he's going to be a monster. That's
Absolutely
big, and he doesn't look overweight. I mean, you know, he's got a belly, but he's not like that baby fat kind of build. He is a big, strong looking guy, big shoulders.
Yes, he is. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
How you doing, Les?
Good. How are you doing, cousin Ed?
Doing good.
Oh yeah, May 2nd's awesome day, Ed. May 2nd, Ed's awesome day.
It will be an awesome day.
Thank you. I knew you would agree with me.
The pads, everything goes on.
Yep, I agree.
And when the boys comes home from practice, they'll have scratches on their bodies, and you know they'll be
Bruises?
aching like crazy.
Yeah. But you know what? All that bruising and those scratches and that aching will turn into W's.
Yep, you're right. And I believe I know why a lot of your listeners ain't calling in tonight. I could care less about this game, but at halftime, they're starting the third quarter. It's UConn women 50 and Syracuse 23 starting the third quarter. And Lesson Brent, I want to ask you a question and I'll hang up. They've been making a big deal about Gino being the winningest coach. But on the women's side, he's the women's coach with 10 so far. But on the men's side, it's John Wooden.
Right. I agree.
And they've had no day about him surpassing John Wooden. So, you know, and, well, you know, they're going to do it tonight, you know.
Oh yeah, what I can't figure out is how they beat these teams so handily between the kids they've got. They cannot be that big of a difference between coaches. I don't believe that for 1 minute that can be a huge difference between coaches. It's got to be with the players for them to be able to beat some of these teams by 30, 40, and 50 points this year. That's amazing.
It is.
It is. It's 54-23 right now. I just switched back real quick.
Wow.
And they just started the third quarter. But I'm anxious for football, and we've got 27 days till spring practice.
That's good.
I've counted and everything, and I'm going to go up and get a football schedule this morning and start counting down to the very first game.
Excellent.
And, because they, you know, I don't do much lesson, Brent, but I'm the guy that keeps the field house clean when the players are out there practicing.
Gotcha.
The guy that, before I let you go, that keeps the coaches' rooms cleaned up.
Well, good, because you better, because you know what I do? I go in there and interview Coach Price every Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I guess he told me to take a break, so I just been laying back, chilling out, taking it easy, like the young people says. But go Cougars, and I'll see you. If not next, I'll talk to you. If not next Tuesday, the 2nd of May.
Okay, buddy. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And can I ask one more question?
Yes, sir.
If there's a young man that would like to play Cougar football, catch Coach Price or one of the coaches in the hallway, you know.
Right. I agree. All right.
That's all it takes.
But listen, I'll talk to you soon.
See you, buddy.
All right, see you.
Bye. Thanks for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
Too big of a delay.
Hello? Hey, Big Earl, you're going to have to talk into the phone, brother.
No, that was the Illinois.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came in right after Big Earl,
Oh, okay.
so apparently it hit the wrong line.
Well, Big Earl, you're gonna have to call back,
Now,
brother.
you know he don't have those kind of technical issues.
No, he don't.
When he brings the knowledge, it's
on.
It's a straight shot.
You're right. I don't know what I was thinking, and I apologize to that caller from Illinois. I do apologize. Apparently, we're having phone issues on our end.
Well,
maybe.
you can hear the delay. I guess is pretty long.
And what he'll need to do is he'll need to turn his internet down and listen to the phone, talk into the phone.
Exactly.
Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
Hey, fellas, this is Big Girl from Jacksboro.
How you doing,
Big
buddy?
Earl.
How y'all doing tonight?
So far, so good.
Yep.
Hey, man, that wasn't me calling a second ago. I don't know who that was, not answering, not talking on the phone. That wasn't me.
Yeah, that's a call. That's a caller we've had call several times, and we're having some issues there.
Well, hey, fellas, I tell you something. Great game last night. Exciting. Man, I tell you what, though, as great as the game was, the class exhibited by both ball teams after the game, with coaches, the players, getting up there, speaking from the heart during the press conference, both the winners and the losers. Pretty dang impressive, I thought, especially after watching Cam Newton, grown man, can't do what those kids did last night. I thought it was pretty impressive. What do y'all think?
I agree. It was a excellent basketball game. I sort of say football because I got football in the brain, but it was an excellent game between the two. I really wanted to see my North Carolina Tar Heels win, though. Just to be honest with you, Big Earl.
Well, I tell you what, though, man. I have to say that the North Carolina team, my impression of them went up after that game.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, my respect for him went up after that loss than it would have if they'd have won the ball game. I tell you what, the guy loved his team, loved his players. They came out in the press conference. I was really impressed with that. And I gained a lot of respect for them. He's obviously got some buying of men that have represented the school pretty well. I understand that's got to be a heartbreaking loss, though, man. I tell you, that was a tough one to take. I know you can look back on it in a few weeks and maybe it'll hurt a little bit less. But I tell you what, that's a tough one to take, man. It's a heck of a ball game, I tell you. I remember watching them play, Villanova play in Georgetown 31 years ago. And that, even though that wasn't, last night wasn't as big of an upset, but boy, it certainly did bring back some memories. I tell you what, Bud, it was amazing to me. I've forgotten all about that. You know how many shots Villanova missed in that game against Georgetown in 1985?
How many?
One.
You're kidding.
The second half, one shot. They only missed 6 shots in the whole game.
Wow.
That's crazy.
They won by 2 points.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They had to play a perfect game. That they get this. I got particular. I was talking to a friend of mine. They said, "Well, what was the percentage in the second half?" I said, 90%. They went 9 of 10. They only took 10 shots in our second half.
And when was that?
Made them count though.
That was in '85.
That was 85 before the shot clock.
Right, that's what I was going to say. That was before the shot clock because I remember North Carolina State winning in 1983, being the Cinderella team, the cardiac, or I forget exactly what they called them, but I remember they did the same thing at times and won the national title in 1983 doing the same thing.
Well, remember, they were behind in most of that game, and they kept fouling Houston. Houston couldn't make free throws.
Exactly.
And that's how they got back in that game against Houston. That was exciting. I heard Derek Richburg today talking. Now, he's the one that took the long shot that the other kid ended up catching and dunking at the end of the game, which that was the last time the game was won on the line shot until last night. That was, it's pretty interesting listening to him talk. And I know y'all are up against it. Y'all need to run, but just wanted to say a quick hey. Thought it was a great game last night. Unfortunately, tonight's game's not very good. As the guy was telling you about earlier, it's a 30-something point game. And of course, Gino, being the normal great sportsman that he is, you still got his starters in the game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't doubt that a bit.
That game might get close. That game might get down to about a 28-point game. Then have to, if you can't, Gino can't let that happen.
That's right.
Exactly.
I tell you what, fellas, I keep thinking, I've got some friends that are UConn fans, and they love their UConn team, but heck, they don't even like it.
I'm telling you, man, that guy's mother don't like him.
I believe it. I don't like
I'm
him.
telling you right now, sir. His mother don't like him, and his daddy don't claim him. I'm telling you right now. All right, so I'll let y'all go. The girl comes to knowledge, and he's gone.
See you, buddy. I'm going to apologize to that guy in Illinois again. I do apologize. We're having phone issues. If you're trying to listen to the show and then ask us a question, the best thing to do is to mute your internet and then talk to us on the line, and we'll be able to hear you a lot
be
better.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't have a feel-good story for this Tuesday.
Oh, I was concerned.
I forgot. I'm telling you, I just forgot.
Well, I wish that I'd have paid more attention to the young man from Georgia Southern that had the injury last year. Neck injury, back injury, spine injury. He was paralyzed. He threw out the first pitch at the LSU game, I guess, last night. And I don't even know his name, unfortunately. It was all over the internet when it happened. And of course, he's still in a wheelchair, but I would consider that a feel good story in the sense that at least he's got some parts moving, and maybe he's on the way back to walking someday.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one of those situations where it's tough being in the situation that it is. And you know what? It is a violent sport. Football is a violent sport, but so is basketball. You can also have concussions from hockey. And of course, that's expected.
Do you recall anybody from basketball ever being paralyzed, though, from playing basketball?
I'm
not saying it hasn't happened. I'm
not
sure it
right
has.
off.
Right.
Not right off.
But I think pretty much every year, somebody, be it high school player or college or pro, somebody almost every year has something like that, and that's a devastating kind of situation.
But
it scares me as a parent or as a father of football players. It worries me a lot.
Well, let me ask you a question. I'm going to be playing the bad guy here.
Okay.
And I'm good playing bad guys. But how much of it is their fault by the way they lead with their head?
A lot of it, but not always. Inky Johnson's injury certainly wasn't his fault. It was a clean situation. And I'm going to jump over to NASCAR real quick though, and just say that it really doesn't matter if it's your time. It's your time. I just hope that it's never anybody's time, especially my kids. I hate to see anybody's kids go through that. But if you look at NASCAR with Dale Earnhardt's wreck, we've seen 10 times more violent wrecks than that. It was just
his time.
Odd way to go. Yeah, just setting his time.
And before we go, Dale Earnhardt Jr. over the weekend from Martinsville, I don't know if you've seen this or not, said that he is going to donate his brain to science for CTE.
I did. That's big.
It is big because some of these crashes that they take and their head slamming forward or slamming backwards, and I know they were the Hans device and it doesn't move as much as
it helps.
It helps.
Yeah, but
it still moves.
Oh yeah.
And that brain still moves inside your skull, and that's what causes the concussion is your brain moving inside your skull.
Yeah, no matter how big your helmet is or how great it is, and if you ever watch the in-car cameras, the violence when they do hit those walls and stuff, it's still a huge jolt.
Oh, absolutely. Well, folks, it's our time to go. We certainly appreciate you tuning in to us tonight and taking an hour out of your day. I apologize again to the gentleman in Illinois. Please call back next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. We'll be on the air next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. For our executive producer, Miss Honeybee, my name is Les Martin.
I'm Brent Allen. God bless and go Cougars.
WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Bird Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Bird's is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.